All right, y'all. So we received a bunch of information over the last 24 hours about NBA 2K24. And a lot of the information sounds like a W, if not all the information sounds like it's going to be a huge W. But the overwhelming majority of information that we received has to do with the offensive end. And because there's so much news and information about 2K24 out now, I wanted to consolidate all the information we have for defense. Hopefully this video will serve as your one-stop shop for information on defense. And hopefully you guys can show that appreciation by subscribing to the channel and helping us get one step closer to 100K this year. We're going to cover everything you need to know about defense, but we're going to start out with interior defense. And I want to reference this tweet sent to Mike Wang by Bro Honcho. He says, at Baluba, has there been a buff in paint defense? Tired of being put on a poster when I'm in good position for a swat, respectfully. Mike Wang responded saying paint defense was a major focus and was reported as the biggest gameplay improvement from our external playtest sessions. I think we have a really good balance right now. Now, I just want to offer a fair warning here. Paint defense was atrocious. Probably the worst paint defense we've seen in years. That was 2K23. Some of you guys may agree or disagree. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What I'm getting at here, if it was so bad, if paint defense was so bad, considering the idea that Mike Wang said it was the biggest gameplay improvement, that doesn't necessarily mean that paint defense is going to be up to par enough to keep up with the offense. It just means that it's way better and it's much more improved than NBA 2K23. Now let's talk about some of the biggest news in regards to ball handlers losing an adrenaline boost bar when getting clamped up by defenders. The idea here that 2K intends to incorporate for 2K24 is that if an onboard defender gets a bump animation, then the primary ball handler will lose an adrenaline boost bar. That's what's spreading throughout the 2K community. But there's something fishy about this, and there's something that lends to the idea that the left-right cheese is going to be back for 2K24. I want to reference this snippet from the Courtside report about adrenaline boost bars. It says here, boosts will disappear every time the on-ball defender can bump the ball handler, and right there is where the good majority of the 2K community kind of just stopped. But the end part of that statement says bump the ball handler on a drive attempt. And I only learned this after rereading this Courtside report today. Does that mean that if the ball handler does not even attempt the drive and he's simply going left and right seeking out a shot opportunity, he's not going to lose an adrenaline boost bar? Definitely a question that needs answers, and definitely something that you guys should prepare for when loading up 2K24. I'll continue on though. It says the cost of losing adrenaline is different this year as well. Instead of dramatically slowing down the ball handler's movement, losing adrenaline will now heavily impact shooting attributes. So if a good defender can clamp the ball handler down and bump them 2 or 3 times in a single possession, they'll have a really tough time scoring if they can manage to get free. In those closing statements on adrenaline boost bars, it still makes it seem as if they're gonna lose adrenaline for each individual bump animation. There's something about that statement when it says boosts will disappear every time the on-ball defender can bump the ball handler on a drive attempt. There's something that just isn't sitting well with me about that statement, because in my opinion, if it was solely just the bump animation alone, they never would have put in on a drive attempt. And to further elaborate on this idea that the left-right cheese might be back in play and that the ball handler will only be losing these adrenaline boost bars when they attempt to drive, or in other words, when they're moving forward, I want to reference this response tweet from Mike Wang. I don't know how to pronounce the homie's name that tweeted to him, Juke, I think it sounds like. It says, hearing about all this offensive stuff, but what about defense? What will be considered a bump enough for the offensive player to lose an adrenaline? Riding their hip, bumping them off course, or a full body up? And that's an absolutely great question. Mike Wang responds saying any body up that's not considered a blow by. Now the big questions are, when we think blow by, we mean moving forward, you're blowing by your defender. The big question is, will moving left and right still be considered a blow by? From our experience playing 2K, blow bys are in forward movement, not in left-right movement. And considering the idea that these players are not going to be slowed down by their adrenaline loss, but the shot will be a little bit more difficult when we take into consideration that they'll be moving left and right without losing adrenaline, that to me sounds like the left-right cheese is going to be back in play for 2K24. I'll create a separate video to elaborate a little bit more on that idea. Hopefully we can get some answers. In regards to changes to the contest system, Mike Wang tweeted out the contest system changed a lot. The main highlights: greater emphasis on body position instead of just hand location. And I want to give you guys a fair warning because verbatim, this is exactly what was said last year. Mike Wang puts in parentheses that this is the reason why we received a lot of ghost contests. He goes on to say heavier penalties for being crowded at the start of a shot and less penalties for out of position late closeouts. In my opinion, despite Mike Wang saying the contest system changed a lot, I feel like we're gonna get a very similar contest system to what we had on 2K23. And in regards to perimeter defense, that's not such a bad thing because I think the perimeter contest system was done pretty well on 2K23. Now, in regards to defense, this one is huge, and a lot of you guys are not gonna like this idea, especially considering how much information we got on the newly revamped offense. Quay A sent out this tweet to Mike Wang saying, how do the defensive adrenaline bars work? Mike Wang responds saying steal and block attempts will consume adrenaline bars on defense. The first bar gone equals a 20% block steal rating nerf. The second bar gone equals a 40% nerf to your block and steal. And if you so happen to lose 3 bars in one possession, you're looking at a 75% nerf to your block and steal attempts. Although that's covering a portion on defense, that sounds like a W for offense. What do you guys think about that? Share your thoughts in the comment section. I'm definitely curious to hear your feedback. And now let's wrap this video up with everything Mike Wang had to say about defense in the Courtside report. He says, along with the changes to adrenaline, counter moves are big in NBA 2K24. Perimeter and paint defense are both more effective and reward players for anticipating and making good reads. He goes on to say defensive movement has improved on many fronts with better responsiveness and less sliding. This helps defenders get where they need to be. And with the much more improved body up system, ball handlers will have a tough time getting free against great defenders. The improved contact can also be felt in the paint. Big defensive anchors will have a much easier time putting a body on shooters at the rim and forcing tough shots. This next segment talks about steals and using your right analog stick to get steals in NBA 2K24. Directional steals are also back, giving locks more tools to pester ball handlers. I made a statement about this in one of the recent live streams. I love the idea of using your right stick to go for a steal animation, but oftentimes I noticed on 2K23 that it just didn't even respond to where I was selecting. If I hit right on the right analog stick to get in a particular passing lane or put out my right hand, nothing would happen. It just wouldn't even respond at all. Hopefully that's not the case in 2K24. Mike Wang goes on to say you need to reach with the correct hand closest to the ball and avoid reaching across the body to maximize success and avoid foul calls. You can also use directional steals to play the passing lanes by flicking the right stick in the correct direction to get your hand in the way and deflect the pass. Mike Wang goes on to say in this Courtside report, NBA 2K24 features revamped contest logic that puts a greater weight on body positioning compared to previous years. The new system addresses the ghost contest issues in past games and makes the coverage scores line up much closer to what gamers will expect. Blocking requires more skill this year also. It's important to read the offense and wait for the correct time and opportunity to attempt blocks. And that sounds all good because smarter players like to play with their hands up. But hands up was so horrendously implemented into 2K23 that players would almost force to jump in order to make a contest. I'm hoping that logic and gameplay mechanic is truly improved. Mike Wang goes on to say if you're behind the shooter, jumping too early, biting on fakes, or out of position, attempting a late closeout, you'll quickly find yourself racking up fouls or giving shooters and one opportunities. Understanding when to act on your defensive instincts could pay dividends for your team in a pivotal moment of the game. I recently sent out a tweet saying that folks who have mastered the crab animation are gonna reign supreme. They're really gonna shine in 2K24. A lot of the information that we're getting on 2K24's defense seems like it's gonna be a heavily offensive oriented type of year. I'm not exactly sure about that as of yet. It just depends on how true Mike Wang is to these statements that he has to say about defense for 2K24. The second we get any more additional information on defense or anything in regards to 2K24, we're definitely going to drop it here. So y'all be sure to keep it locked. If you guys are tired of running with randoms and you're looking for players to run with on NBA 2K, come on out and join our Discord. We'd love to have you. The link for Discord will be in the description below. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in, and y'all be sure to keep it locked right here at AllCity Live TV, because we got a bunch more NBA 2K24 news, information, and updates coming your way. Drop a like and drop a sub on your way out. I'll catch you guys on the next video or live stream. Easy, y'all.